All right,
That's
so
all right.
I guess the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to present our introduction video and then go through just like a PDF presentation on the factory, and then I'll close off with it's Fashion Revolution Week next week, and we have a huge campaign to support Fashion Revolution as it speaks so closely to the values of the factory, and I'll show you that video. So yeah, I just dive straight into it, and I'll introduce you to the factory first, unless I can quickly to say about myself. Originally from the UK. I'm a designer, accessory designer, lived in Melbourne for 2 years, lived in Vancouver, Canada for 8 years. I'm a Canadian now, as well as being British. And I quit my job at the end of 2019 to move to China to start Veshin factory, and currently I'm not in China, I'm still stuck in the UK, but we decided to launch the company last May and just kind of see where it went through lockdown. And fortunately for us, the company really took off and it gained a lot of traction, and here it is. So I'm going to start with the introduction video. Hang on, it's not
No sound.
yeah, hang on. Sorry. Rookie.
And denies allegation.
All right, here we go.
The factory has collapsed in Bangladesh, once again calling into question the safety standards at the factories.
The owner of the Rana Plaza factory complex in Bangladesh has been charged with murder.
A Chinese company that has made shoes for the Ivanka Trump brand denies allegations of excessive overtime and low wages. A factory fire in India.
Look, this is going to keep happening as long as we let it. So we need to show we care, but why they should.
Whilst the fashion has become more sustainable over the course of the last 10 years, manufacturers have struggled to keep pace with speed. After this is Veshin Factory. I'm Joe Pringle, founder and an ODM manufacturer that specializes in luxury vegan leather and premium accessories. Our goal at Veshin is to become one of the greenest factories on the planet by living 5 core values. We want to reduce the quality of high-quality, innovative, long-lasting products. Our focus is on the circular material suppliers that take these and turn them into this. Certifications and audits are a crucial part of the social compliance process, but we plan on going above and beyond by providing transparency on everything, and I mean at the forefront of our values. So we promote plant-based living wherever possible. To take the pressure off materials such as cactus, apple, pineapple, and mushroom. Our desire for doing things differently stretches manufacturing goals. From beach cleanups to tree planting initiatives, we plan on investing our revenues into supporting global and local outreach projects outside of our day-to-day factory operations. For long-lasting positive change to take hold, we need a shift in global consciousness. Through transcendental meditation, we hope to help raise awareness for a more balanced relationship with nature. For Veshin, collaboration is key. For the fashion industry, the change for the better, meaningful collaboration and shared culture is fundamental. We want to brands that share our core values, our philosophy on accountability, and our desire for a greener future. So if this is you, get in touch, and we look forward to going on this journey together. I love those cows. Okay, so I'm just going to go through basically our working deck now. Mm-hmm. Everyone can see this, okay?
Yeah.
So yeah, Veshin is our motto is like it's a home for conscious manufacturing. For me, everything starts with consciousness first, being at that higher state, and if you can get to that higher state of consciousness, naturally from there, all those good values and decision making will unfold from being at that higher state. So that's kind of the motto of the factory and what we live for. So our story is basically my business partners, where are they? Hongling and Xiao. So Hongling owns a factory in China already. He's had the factory for about 8 years, and traditionally his factory specialized in animal leather product. So super high-end luxury goods, making like handbags like this out of leather is what they've specialized in. But when I met him as a designer working for another brand, I was working for a very sustainably conscious company, and it wasn't a good fit for our brand to be working in a luxury leather goods house. And I explained to him that the brand needs to align with a factory that was more progressive in their mindset, and we were looking to move our brand away from basically working with his current factory. And when I explained these things to me, he told me that he's a converted Buddhist, and I was like, if you're a converted Buddhist, how can you work with leather? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. And he's told me that he's only been Buddhist a couple of years, and he finds it very hard and challenging that his business, even though it's 8 years old, now it's very hard to keep using animal leather. And he told me that he wanted to start a greener factory, and he really wanted to speak towards the future and the environment and sustainability. And it was the first time in my life as a designer where I met someone, especially in China. It is a challenging country for people to understand a bit more about the future of sustainability. But he was the first guy I met as an owner who really understood the change that needed to happen. And he wanted to make that change, and he wanted to start a green factory. So I was like, that's pretty cool. And I was just like, can I consult for you? Can I support? Because my background is sustainability as a designer, of sourcing, and I understand how hard it is. And I just said to him, I was like, I'd love to support you as a consultant. So I consulted for him for a year, and I went back to Canada, and I went back to my current job, and things were moving really well with the consultancy position, and I got offered a promotion at my current business. But I said to myself, do I want to keep working for someone else, or do I want to kind of explore this consultancy idea full time? So I went back to China in 2019 at the end in December, and I proposed to Hongling what a full-time consultant would look like. I put it all on paper, basically my how I envisioned his factory and how I could support. And he basically turned around and said, don't be a consultant, just be the owner of the factory. And I was like, at the time I was like, it makes no sense, because Hongling doesn't speak any English and I don't speak any Mandarin. So going into business with someone in China and not speaking the same language is probably like the worst thing you should do. But fortunately, Xiao over here is Hongling's wife-to-be, and she speaks incredible English. She speaks better English than I do. So it made things very easy for the negotiations and understanding what this ownership looked like. And we talked about everything. And for me personally, I wanted to be in a position in my life where I could be in that kind of entrepreneurial position where the sky was the limit and I could make the biggest impact possible. And the stars aligned, and I said to myself, this is where I want to be in my life. So I quit my job in Canada, and I became a citizen in Canada a month later. And a month after quitting my job and becoming a citizen, I moved back to the UK short term. The plan was to move back here last March and move to China in October. But as we all know, COVID happened and things started to change. And I said to myself, instead of launching the company in China, let's launch it in the UK and just see what happens. And simply what we're doing is we're transitioning Hongling's current leather goods factory and transitioning 8 years of work into Veshin. So what that looks like is, as I explained in the video, we're an OEM manufacturer. So we basically work for brands and we produce their handbag collections for them based on their specs. But right now what we're doing is supporting brands with transitioning and making that life easier with sustainability in mind. That's my background. And I'm basically bringing my skill set to manufacturing to support brands across the world to really start producing the most progressive collections possible. As I explained in the video, the factory's built off using the most progressive materials possible with the building. Right now we're in a rental facility, but long term we want to be in a position where we can control how the building operates with solar panels on the roof and these types of things. The second pillar is transparency. So working very closely with Fashion Revolution now. I'm in touch with the organization and we're building a nice relationship to really provide transparency on what made in China looks like. There's a lot of stigma around made in China and there's a lot of bad media, but China doesn't deserve all that bad press. Like right now, for example, what we're seeing with like the concentration camps and the organic cotton farms, like that's one pocket of China that's not operating correctly, but holistically, it's not fair to judge China based on a couple of these things. So it's important that we provide transparency to say, hey, it is fine to get something made in China, and there's a lot of love in that country and a lot of incredible people and incredible businesses, and I want to provide transparency to that. So that's why I'm moving to China, to physically be there, to support them with showing basically what that factory looks like to the world. The third pillar, plant-based culture. So I'm vegan myself. Obviously they're converted Buddhists and they live a vegetarian diet, but it's something that is the company's built off. Veshin means vegan heart. So VE stands for vegan, and then Xin means heart in China. So it's a collaboration of an English word and a Chinese word coming together to form basically what is the heart of the company, which is veganism. So working with those suppliers that we talked about, Peanut-X, as you know, Carmen, you're here. We're working with Apple suppliers, cactus suppliers. We make bags like this out of cactus leather. So we're trying to convert luxury into vegan positive luxury. And soon to be mushroom leather, which is super exciting. It's a very untapped space. It's very new right now. So it's a very exciting place in the industry to start moving away from animal leather and start working towards these materials. Our fourth value is giving back. We're working very closely now with a charity in China. So wherever possible, we'll be speaking for the charity, but we'll be also giving our revenue where we can to support this charity. They're called ACT Asia. And basically what they do is they educate children and schools and vets about the importance of understanding the treatment of animals and just ethics and these types of things that speak very closely to my heart and the future. It's important that the kids of today are the ones who are going to change the world. It's important that they're educated correctly. So it's a really like-minded foundation that we're supporting. And then lastly, meditation and wellness play a huge part in the factory. For me, I've been meditating twice a day for almost 2 years now. I practice transcendental meditation. And since finding TM, I kind of understood holistically how the universe works. And I used to be a vegan activist and I realized that wasn't the answer. That's too negative. Sustainability is an incredibly hard thing. Transparency is an incredibly hard thing, but what is important is that we're operating in that higher state of consciousness. And once you're operating in that state of consciousness, you'll be making the best decisions possible. So it's about love at the end of the day and being happy and these types of things, and installing that as an individual and installing that as business owners, and then holistically throughout the company and through the brands we work with. The whole idea is to share that message of love. And if we can get to that higher state, we'll start seeing way better things happening on the planet. So it's all quite simple. We just got to start meditating more. Our services, I can just touch this quickly. We can do design and development. I can support with sourcing materials, but yeah, what we specialize in is production, so bulk production. Materials that we work with or we are in relationships with. So organic cotton and hemp, we've done a lot of work with in the past. We can do work with Tencel. Reprieve is our go-to recycled polyester supplier. Recycled nylon, we've done a lot of work with them recently. Cork is one of the options that's quite commercial already. Microfiber is just like your standard vegan leather. I hate saying the word vegan leather because it's just like, it's very greenwashy. But then what I'm most excited about is cactus leather, is Peanut-X, mushroom leathers, apple leathers. This is where I really see the industry changing. And this is the types of materials that I believe are the future for the industry. So as I said before, we're working very closely with Deserto and Cactus Leather, and now we're really working on a really close relationship with Pinatex to really support our clients, offering more pineapple bags to the world. Here's some of our clients, past and present. So we work with some pretty big names in our current factory, and the idea is to transition these big names across into Veshin, and then in the last year, we've taken on like Votch as a new client of mine, Bryn, Watson and Wolf. These are all Veshin, these are all vegan kind of mentality type clients. So moving forward for me, I just concentrate solely on just taking clients that speak to our values, and moving forward, the previous clients, we want to give them the chance to transition. We're not going to say, hey, you're working in leather. We're going to say, hey, you should try using Pinatex, hey, you should try using Cactus Leather, and hopefully get that shift. And that shift is going to happen. I mean, this industry is like $1 trillion industry. So from a financial capitalism standpoint for these companies, they're going to wake up and realize that there's a lot of money to be made from it. That's not our goal. Our goal is to create a factory model that inspires other factories to change. And hopefully we can be the leader that does that. And then, yeah, I mean, I can send this to anyone. Here's our press, been on a bunch of really cool podcasts to talk more about it. The Vegan Review is a really great website that speaks very closely to my heart. They've covered a lot of stories for us. Green Queen, they're in Hong Kong. The TM organization, they wrote an article on. So that's a bit more on basically the lay of the land. And then lastly, to close things off, it's Fashion Revolution Week next week. As I said, radical transparency is important, and Fashion Revolution gives us that spotlight, and it gives us that support to really showcase what Made in China looks like. So this is our support video for Fashion Revolution. And after this,
Questions.
This was Rana Plaza, an 8-story commercial building situated 20 kilometers west of Dhaka, Bangladesh. The building contained banks, shops, apartments, and clothing factories. On the 23rd of April 2013, a local TV station recorded footage of multiple cracks developing within the building. The building was initially evacuated, but the building's owners ignored the warnings. Garment workers were ordered back to work the following day. On the 24th of April at 8:57 a.m., Rana Plaza collapsed during the morning rush hour. 3,122 workers were in the building at the time of the collapse. The search for survivors started immediately. Approximately 2,500 people were rescued from the building alive. And 19 days later, when the search was declared over, 1,134 people were confirmed to have lost their lives. A day after the collapse, the factory owners were arrested whilst attempting to evade the authorities. Following an investigation, the collapse of Rana Plaza was deemed to have stemmed from a consistent lack of corporate social responsibility. Change was needed. In the wake of the 2013 Rana Plaza disaster, Fashion Revolution was founded. Since then, Fashion Revolution has become the world's largest fashion activism movement by empowering people to make lasting positive change. The vision of the movement is to create a global fashion industry that values people over profit and works heard and restore the environment. Yet despite 8 years of hard work, human rights issues and environmental degradation remain prevalent within the industry. The COVID-19 pandemic, however, has provided a genuine opportunity to deliver lasting, systematic change. It's time to start things over. Inspired by Fashion Revolution, Veshin Factory was formed in April 2020 as a home to conscious manufacturing, and with the goal to become one of the most sustainably progressive and radically transparent factories in the world.
My name is Joey Pringle. I'm the founder of Veshin Factory, and it's time for a Fashion Revolution Week.
我是于洪亮，我是微信的合伙人之一。现在是 Fashion Revolution Week。
My name is Xia Wei. I'm the executive director for Veshin Factory. Now it's time for a Fashion Revolution Week.